Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We're actually recording this on Thanksgiving, but you're watching this hopefully the day after Thanksgiving. Hope everybody had a good one out there. We got a long ass drive, so we were just gonna let you come along with us, and we'll bring up some stories.
Yeah, we're digging through the DMs here, so I'm just going in no particular order. The last thing we had is a 19-year-old college student on her way to surprise her family for Thanksgiving break, detained at Boston airport and later deported, despite a federal judge's order blocking her removal. So, how's that for a little happy Thanksgiving?
I wonder how many times that's happened with a judge saying, you're not allowed to deport this person, and then they just deport them anyway.
Yeah, well, did you see, there was an article, I think it was a New Yorker article, talking about some of these people who had orders barring their removal to various violent countries or places where they were persecuted, and then what the government is doing is instead they'll deport them to like Eswatini or some
Libya
other,
or some shit.
Yeah, random country, and then that country will deport them to the one that they're not supposed to be deported to, which is illegal. That's like brazenly illegal, but that doesn't stop them. They just do whatever the fuck they want.
It's a nightmare. Every day you get a story like that,
Yeah, absolutely.
We're kind of burying the lead too with the shooting of the National Guard.
Yeah, and I was telling you just this morning, it came out that apparently he had worked with CIA-backed militia groups in Afghanistan. And you guys probably saw, so he came to the U.S. after the Afghan withdrawal under Biden, but then he had his asylum granted just in April of this year under the Trump administration. So his asylum was actually granted by Trump. And I mean, one of the things I've been thinking about is just like what an example of imperial blowback this is. I mean, we like commit all these crimes and invade their country and create all this horror, and who knows what's going on with this guy, very likely mentally ill, but this is part of the like blowback from our adventurism overseas.
Yeah, and he was allied with us. I don't know if he was a translator or whatever he was.
Right.
But the CIA thing is crazy because what was the name of the CIA program? I forget the name of the CIA program where they like purposefully brainwashed people. I'm blanking on the name of it. But I'm
from
sure,
like the 70s?
Yeah, from like the 70s. I forget what it's called, but I'm sure you guys can look it up. But you start to think like, I'm sure there's some shit going on like that today, right? Like, what makes us so different now compared to then? This idea that like, oh, we cleaned it all up, like there's no more fuckery. Like, are you kidding me? There's more fuckery than ever. They've been trying to overthrow Maduro for like more than a decade now,
Yeah, completely. You lied to us, Steve Bannon's fans, and turn on him over Epstein ties. I didn't read this article.
Oh, I didn't read that article either, but the headline intrigued me because I've been screaming this through a megaphone that like sloppy Steve Bannon tries to pretend like he's this populist and he's this anti-establishment guy. He's been doing it for so long. Meanwhile, he is all over the Epstein emails. Like, he was like for real buddy with Jeffrey Epstein on another level, right? Like, there to an extent it was Michael Wolff too. I do think Michael Wolff has a little bit more of a claim of like, no, I was infiltrating to get the information shared with everybody, because Wolff has been sharing all of his stuff all along, right? But with Steve Bannon, there's no excuse. He pretends like, this guy was what he was, which is like a sex trafficker, Mossad agent, but like, you were besties with him. You were looking out for him. He was saying that he would protect him like a couple months before he was arrested and then died in prison, right?
Yeah. Weren't there emails with him or messages with him like right up until he was in prison?
Mm-hmm.
And I know one of the ones was like Epstein saying to Bannon, this is why Donald Trump lays awake at night,
worried about our friendship.
Yeah. It was in the context, by the way, of an email where he was talking about interfering in the Israeli elections and like trying to ally with Ehud Barak for him to win over Netanyahu, something that Netanyahu shared, which is hilarious. But in any case, I mean, this guy was like, they were buddies. They were close. They were sending text messages and emails back and forth like crazy. And Bannon famously had said, reportedly, that Epstein was the one guy that he thought could take Trump out. So I guess one possibility is he was like, let me keep this guy close. so that I can keep tabs on what he's doing and what he's saying and like keep him happy.
But he was invited to like Epstein's houses and shit. You saw that in the emails.
Yeah, but
and, like,
that's not an excuse, because then you're still engaged in a cover-up, just a cover-up on behalf of like your guy.
Totally. Did you also see Bannon was doing this thing the other day where he's like, listen guys, this AI thing, man, we really gotta fucking rein in these people, you know? And it's like, bro, the whole movement that you're like spearheading, Trump is totally cooked by the tech oligarchs, by the AI billionaires. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're the problem. The Republicans are trying to slip in no regulation of AI for like a decade.
Trump is considering signing an executive order to have the DOJ prosecute any states that try to regulate AI.
And here's Bannon pretending like that's not the case, pretending like, MAGA's about like regulating AI. It's the fucking opposite. You're owned by the billionaires. It's so clear.
Yeah, this is my obsession, because I think it's incredibly all the data center stuff is terrible for the environment. It's terrible for local control. It's jacking up everybody's electricity bills, so that's a disaster. They're inflating a gigantic bubble, shoveling trillions of dollars. These companies are too big to fail. They're expecting the federal government to serve as a backstop. And if it's not a gigantic bubble that crashes and destroys the economy, that may be even worse, because what they're aiming for is to take literally everyone's jobs. So yeah, the whole thing is a catastrophe. And I have come to believe that the unleashing of AI in this thoroughly deregulated environment, no holds barred, like Wild West fashion, and effectively handing our entire country and future and society over to the whims of these tech oligarchs, that is the central project of this administration. Not that Trump is like really gives a shit, but he wanted to stay out of prison. He wanted to win. They threw hundreds of millions of dollars at him. Elon did whatever he did in the election to get him in there. And Trump doesn't give a shit about anything. And they're helping to enrich him through all of his crypto scams and schemes. So, he basically is like, all right, you guys do whatever you want. And I'm a huge push from the beginning of his executive orders and the orientation of this administration has been to roll back even the minimal AI safety precautions that the Biden administration had put in place, and just push the whole economy. Like, the whole economy is just one giant bet on AI now. Obviously, there's a lot else that's going on in this administration that's incredibly damaging and consequential, but I actually think this is like the central play. And so for Bannon to posture like he's an opponent of this, if you support Trump and you had anything to do with getting this man into office, then you are responsible. You have blood on your hands for what they're doing with regard to AI, which I think is incredibly damaging and incredibly threatening.
Yeah, they're actually trying to usher in this like techno-feudalism, And
they will succeed if
Well, they've collapsed all the actual institutions, right?
Well,
so they're like a smoldering husk of what they used to be.
And that's what Doge was about, right? Was collapsing all of government capacity. That's what Doge was actually about. And then you have this massive multi-trillion-dollar push towards AGI or superintelligence, with the idea that we're going to hand off all kinds of like decision making to the AI itself, and whichever tech oligarch, whether it's the guys at Google who have just sort of jumped into the lead with Gemini 3, or whether it's Sam Altman, or whether it's Mark Zuckerberg or Elon or whoever the fuck it is, whoever it is that gets to superintelligence first and has this massive advantage over everyone, like, it's just fundamentally inconsistent with democracy. That level of money and power and control is not something that we have ever seen before in the history of the world. So
they're trying to create God in a computer. That's what they're doing.
And they have enough hubris to believe that if they do that, if they create this being that is vastly more intelligent than the smartest human on the planet, that they'll be able to maintain control over it, and it will act as their sort of like, as their AI servant, and the power will actually confer to them. That's what they believe. And
did you see now that the AI pictures, I forget which place did it, which company did it, but
something like Banana.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But like,
oh, here it is: Nano Banana versus Nano Banana Pro.
now AI pictures are completely and utterly indistinguishable from actual pictures.
Yes.
To the point where even the best of the best, and the people who have the most trained eyes, and the people who have a good bullshit meter, they can't see a difference.
Yeah.
I was looking at that, I was like, I'm cooked.
Looks like a picture.
Looks like a
Just
picture.
looks like a
That's
picture.
simple. And the old one I could tell. The
Yeah.
old one, the last model of this thing, I could tell.
Yeah, because it had a certain like AI sort of
Sheen.
like
There's like a sheen to it. Yeah, exactly.
Like a glossy,
like a filmy
unreality to
right.
it.
Like it looks kind of real. It would definitely fool like a boomer on Facebook.
It looks like a real photo if you put like some kind of a filter on it or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Now
exactly.
it just looks like a real photo. And I mean,
and so that's
the other
information
part.
warfare. That's information warfare.
Yeah,
now it's like now that
destabilizing reality.
Somebody said the era of photo evidence just ended.
Did you see that?
That's crazy.
Vivek, and this is something else we could talk about. Vivek Ramaswamy was like proposed year-round school in Ohio.
I hated that. I know you like
which
it.
I actually support.
I fucking hate it.
Whatever. I'm sure he would do it in a horrendous way, and he doesn't really believe in public education. He believes some charter school bullshit, whatever. But it actually is better for kids if you have school year-round. It's especially better for lower-income kids because there's so much learning loss over the summer. Kids who rely on school for a stable, safe environment, rely on it for some sort of reliable meals and nutrition. Anyway,
Yeah, but just do like public summer camp. You don't need to put them in a classroom.
Anyway, he put that out, and most people did not agree with me, and I guess it was wildly unpopular. And so I think he took it down, but his opponent was like going after him for it, and his supporters were claiming that the video was fake and that it was AI, that it wasn't a real video of him, but it actually was a real video of him.
That's what happens now.
Yeah, I mean, just think about that. So he puts out a real video of a position that he sort of tests the water with, finds out it's not popular. His opponent is attacking him for it. And people are attacking his opponent, claiming that she fell for an AI video when it was a real video. Like, that's already where we're at with this stuff.
And Trump did that too.
It's incredible. Yes, and Cuomo put out some friggin' AI videos. I mean, those were like obviously AI, but to us anyway, I mean, already some of that stuff that people are falling for, but it destabilizes reality, consolidates control of like what's real and what's false in the hands of these incredibly nefarious tech oligarchs like Elon. And then there's also the mass surveillance aspect of all of this, which we're seeing more and more with the with how ICE is operating and the facial recognition technology that they're using. So, I mean, I think that's their plan to, create increasing authoritarian control, because they know what's coming is not going to be popular. So as they consolidate control in their hands, they're going to use more and more of these mass surveillance tools and authoritarian like police state tactics to try to keep people in line and keep them from revolting. So
we were already bifurcating in the sense that conservatives lived in a totally different reality, and then now it's over. Like, you can actually create your own reality.
Yeah.
You can convince yourself of whatever the fuck you want to convince yourself of.
Yeah.
So like, what does that do to our politics in this country? It's already broken, but that makes it way more broken,
I'm reading this book called Gilded Rage right now. Highly recommend. And one of the things they talk about too is how, Jacob, I'm forgetting his last name right now, but anyway, one of the things he talks about in this book is how, how David Sachs and all these Silicon Valley types, they got very big into the like, oh my God, the crime and the homelessness in San Francisco in particular, but LA also, but since they're Silicon Valley guys, they were like obsessed with this in San Francisco, and they led the recall effort against some of the local council members. They led a recall effort that was successful against a progressive prosecutor named Jason Boudin. Anyway, part of that push involved, hey, we're going to put up all of these cameras and surveil people as a crime-fighting tactic. And then lo and behold, guess what? The police also used it to surveil protesters who were, doing legitimate First Amendment activity. And so, just a lot of this stuff, you come to realize, a lot of these reactionary politics, they're about creating a right-wing overall shift in the political climate, but they're also about these billionaires' pet projects and attempts to create control. You put it on low. That's kind of crazy.
Oh, that wasn't on purpose.
You're like freezing me out over here. But yeah, you come to realize just how nefarious sort of the plot behind the scenes and the way they're consolidating control and the way they posture like they're populists while they're literally developing technology that they want to use to take all of your jobs.
32% of entry-level jobs have already been replaced by ChatGPT. 32%.
Wow.
And you made a point that, like, revolutions actually happen when the elite class has, like, a mass unemployment crisis.
Yeah, like when the, your typical, like, lawyers or business school grads, like those types.
Yeah, people who went to school for 4+ years.
And you now have, I think it was 28% of the unemployed have college degrees. So these are people who took on all the fucking debt, did all the shit that, we were told you're supposed to do to make it, and now they're just, they're completely screwed. It's really dire. I mean, it's a very scary landscape out there. So, Steve Bannon, I don't know where you were at when Trump was just selling his entire presidency to these guys, but it's a little late now. And if you're not, it also drives me crazy the way that, like, he and others, Tucker will do this too, will say things that are theoretically sort of adversarial to the Trump administration, but they never lay the blame at Trump. They never, like, directly criticize Trump,
Yep, that's their move.
Yeah, like, if you have an issue with what's going on with AI, that falls squarely in your man's camp. Like, that is his fault. And
yeah, I mean, they're fundamentally dishonest. That's right.
Yes.
That's what that is.
Correct. All right, let's see what else we got in here. I know there's a lot of nuzzy stuff in here.
Wait, before you get to that, which one should I spray? The Bad Boy Cobalt, which I have a little tester of, or my goat?
Let's try the new one. Why not?
I'll try the new one?
Yeah.
Look how I have, like, very little left in this. I was going to kill it on this trip.
Let's be trapped in the truck with an unknown fragrance and see how that goes.
No, it's known. I tried it once before.
Oh, you tried? Okay, so it's not completely mystery.
No, it's actually very nice. It's you'd like this more than this.
Really?
Yeah, because this one is like a little bubblegummy sweet, a little more for, like, a younger guy. This one is woodsy, spicy, masculine.
Gotcha. Yeah, I tend to like the
You like very sweet. You like gourmand, sweet, vanilla. A lot of male fragrances these days are packed full of vanilla too, so it's a good era for what you're looking
for. Nice. Kyle is on his fragrance journey. You guys may know that already, but he's gotten a little obsessed. Kind of nice for him to get obsessed with something coming up on Christmas and his birthday.
Yeah,
easy
true.
For me to shop for him.
Yeah, and you know what got me into it is
Oh, that is nice. I like that.
It's a very small egg.
Very nice. Yeah.
The thing that got me into it was actually I wanted to get all my nostalgia sense, the fragrances from when I was younger, to see if it worked to, like, make your mind go back to then, and it does kind of work.
Trying to escape the present, babe.
No, I wanted that trip down memory lane, so I got Tommy was one of the OGs. Polo Sport was one of the OGs. Obviously Abercrombie had Fitch Fierce, but I never ran out of that. I still got the bottle from like a decade ago or whatever. And then that blossomed out to, like, how does this work? Like, what smells do I like? What's the science behind this? What's, like, what makes a masculine scent masculine versus a feminine scent feminine,
It's kind of amazing to me, these fragrance videos that you watch and these guys that are able to pick out, like, the different notes.
It's incredible. They could say, like, 20 things about one scent. Meanwhile, I'm like, it smells good.
Yeah, I know.
I like it. It smells good.
I mean, I even have trouble, I don't know, I don't have a good memory for, like, which is which,
Oh, like if you smell it one day.
Yeah.
And I tell you it's X. The next time you smell it, you're like, what's this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. No idea. Yeah. But which of the nostalgia fragrances do you like the most?
What I was surprised by is that I was expecting Tommy in particular to be very dated and me to not like it that much. It's a fucking masterpiece. It still smells amazing.
Really?
Tommy, yeah. It's got, this is what they say, is the notes in there that are not really used much these days in men's fragrances are green. It's got green in there, which means, like, grassy, whatever, like that sort of, I don't know what to call it, like, scent characteristics, I guess.
Okay.
They don't use green much anymore. It's just, like, out of fashion in the moment. But you smell it and you're like, damn, they should really bring this shit back because it's good. It's really good. The green stuff is good. So anyway, it was Tommy, I would say, was better than what I remembered. But also Polo Sport was better than they were all better than what I remembered, but I think Tommy was the one that really was like, oh, I could easily wear this today, and it wouldn't be dated or anything like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Our man Kash Patel is doing amazing things as FBI director, continuing to.
What do you do this time?
We're talking about the National Guard guardsmen who were shot. By the way, was it confirmed? Are they in critical condition?
I don't know.
Or?
The West Virginia governor came out and said they were dead, and then he was like, never mind. So I don't know. Sure. I haven't seen an update on it.
In any case, he came out at the press conference and was like, we're going to find the guy that did this. And they're like, bro, he's already captured. And apparently,
fucking idiot.
I mean, I'm a little surprised that Trump ever gave him this role because, Trump loves the out of central casting thing. And this man is out of central casting for the bumbling, incompetent FBI director. That's what he's out of central casting for. So, yeah, I can't imagine that this is going to help his case to keep his slot there.
He had no qualifications for this anyway.
Yeah.
Trump just liked that he wrote a kid's book about him.
Yeah.
That called him a king.
Yeah, that's right.
He was Kash Patel was selling pills that reversed the vaccine before he became FBI director. Think about how insane that is. The level of scumbag snake oil salesman you have to be hawking these fucking bullshit supplements.
And also, the level of incompetent you have to be to stand out as the incompetent one in this administration.
Facts.
That is impressive.
Facts.
Right? And I feel like him and Pete Hegseth really sort of have made their mark as being the supremely incompetent members of this administration. But anyway, so he was like, oh, we're going to find the guy. And everyone's like, dude, we already got him. And this, of course, is after all this stuff comes out about the way he's using the private jet to fly to his girlfriend's wrestling, singing, and
by
whatever.
the way, she blamed Mark Kelly for the shooting of the National Guardsmen.
Oh my god.
I fucking hate these. They're so dishonest. They don't even believe that. So Mark Kelly releases a video saying, hey, if they tell you to do an illegal order, don't do it. And now you're blaming the shooting of National Guardsmen on that?
Insane.
Jesus Christ, just so
Completely
gross.
insane.
Just so fucking gross.
So should we talk about the latest with Olivia Nuzzi here?
Oh, we got some more felching drama?
We've got a few different things here. So first of all, let me read this one. Somebody posted, well, this is nuts. And it says, soon after the debate, Bobby realized his campaign for president was over and began the process of negotiating an endorsement of Trump. As luck would have it, Olivia also decided to write about Trump. Bobby and Olivia started trading intel as they both turned their attention to Mar-a-Lago. Olivia had a brilliant plan to help secure Trump's cooperation with her article. She convinced New York Magazine to commission artist Isabel Brorman to draw a portrait of Trump to accompany the piece. Trump had taken a liking to Izzy when she worked as a sketch artist during his Manhattan trial, and Olivia figured he would enjoy having her around him. She was right, but Olivia was excluded from Izzy's key session with Trump at Mar-a-Lago, and so Olivia adjusted the plan. She sent Izzy inside Trump's Palm Beach compound with a recorder in her bag, which rolled as Izzy drew Trump, who was taking campaign meetings with the likes of Matt Gaetz, Susie Wiles, and others. With any luck, Olivia would capture some great material for her piece and some intel for Bobby as he negotiated the endorsement.
So they spied on Trump to give the information to RFK to help him with trying to snuggle up to Trump?
Yeah, and also, I guess, for her reported piece, but that's wildly unethical and probably illegal. You can't just record someone's conversation.
I think it depends on the state you're in.
Whether
there's
it's
one-party states and two-party states. Yeah, so I don't know what the case is in that example.
It's unbelievably unethical. I mean, fuck Trump, whatever, but you were supposed to be a journalist, and you've been now rehired by Where Is She? Vanity Fair.
So
and all this stuff is coming out.
She was also fishing around for negative information on RFK to then tell him about it, so that he could get ahead of it. So remember the thing about him eating a roadkill bear and putting it in his trunk, in his truck bed or whatever, his trunk. Apparently, somebody had Olivia Nuzzi was asking around other journalists, and one journalist said, "I got this story on RFK. It's gonna be crazy. He fucking ate a roadkill bear, yada yada." And she goes right to him and tells him. Then he releases a video trying to get ahead of that by recording him sitting around a kitchen table telling this old funny story about, so I picked up the bear and I put it in the trunk and then I brought it here, and everybody's like, oh, that's so funny.
When that came out and we're all like, what?
Yeah, we were like, why did you post this video? Now you know. Because Nuzzi was a spy for him and helping. And that's the thing is, like, that's why Vanity Fair is probably going to axe the relationship, is because that's wildly unethical as a journalist.
All of this is. And, okay, here's the other crazy part. So, Ryan Lizza, her ex, who's, like, revealing all this stuff about her relationship with Mark Sanford and with, did he write about the Olbermann part, too? I don't know.
I don't know if Lizza wrote about Olbermann yet.
Anyway, Sanford and then RFK Jr. So he wrote this. He said, according to Olivia, when Izzy left the session, so this is the sketch artist who has the recording device in her backpack or whatever, Izzy was hung up on something she believed Trump might have said about Butler, Pennsylvania. Something explosive that, if she were correct, would shatter our understanding of recent history.
Red light camera.
So that is a clear indication that Trump may have said something about, like, the shooting being fake.
That's what he's teasing here.
That's what he's teasing.
Yeah. He must be getting so many friggin' Substack subscribers.
Oh, from the Felching article, people were like, yes, please, subscribe.
Oh my God. I do not want to actually subscribe to a publication talking about RFK Jr. Felching, personally.
It's just it's the
salaciousness.
Yeah, the salaciousness,
yes, I get
and
it.
the drama of it. People don't actually want to see him felching or think of him felching, you know?
Yeah, no, not at all.
I like how they're still trying to pretend like, no, it was just a texting relationship, bro.
Did you talk about the jailbait song?
Yes, of course, yeah. Jailbait, I'm jailbait. She made a song when she was 16 with that. And
How
by the way,
parents
that had to
feel
be about
that?
Keith Olbermann. Oh, horrible, I'm sure.
Oh.
But that had to be about Keith Olbermann, right?
No, I don't think she met him yet.
Well, they say it was when she was 18,
I think she
right?
met him when she was 18, and he claims they didn't start a relationship till she was 19. But I don't know. Actually, to be honest with you, the jailbait song made me like what? Did something happen to you? Because this is not
Red light camera.
like between that and then already like you're calling yourself jailbait when you're 16, and then
That's crazy.
already when you're 18, 19, you're in this relationship with Olbermann, who was like in his 50s at the time.
Already had white ass hair and shit.
And yeah, and then, you know, Sanford and RFK Jr. Like, there's clearly a type here. I don't know. I don't know. But it made the story have a bit of a sad or disturbing twinge to it.
Yeah.
As well, of like, what's going on with you, girl? Because this is not normal stuff.
Totally.
So, what else we got in here? Wait, it like jumped up way far. Did you see this thing? You've been following Nikki Haley's son, like all this stuff.
Yeah, I zero sympathy, because I hate it when they do the thing where it's like he's acting like he's with the white nationalists. Like, bro, you're not on the team, dog.
I know.
They would accept me more than they'd accept you because I'm white. Fucking idiot. Like, I really hate this pick-me bullshit. I really fucking hate it.
I do too.
Like, you're Indian and you're doing this whole thing about, like, Vivek can't import his third world ideology. Like, bitch, look in the fucking mirror. You think they're gonna fucking spare you? They don't give a fuck about you. You know what it reminds me of? The Cubans who voted for Trump overwhelmingly, and then he started, like, mass deporting Cubans. And they're like, wait, hold on, I thought, yeah, the leopards are now eating your fucking face.
Yeah, so Vivek had tweeted this thing, Republicans should use more rhymes when naming their laws. Instead of don't say gay, they should have called it wait until 8, as in wait until kids turn 8 years old before public schools teach them about sex. That would have avoided a national fuss about nothing, which is
Stay in the
whatever.
rose
It's
lane.
stupid. It's stupid. But Nayland Haley jumps in to say this creep should not be near any child, and we absolutely can't have his third world parenting style imposed on American kids. And to your point, it's like we see what you're doing here. You're like, oh, I'm one of the good Indians.
Yeah, I'm like with you, Fuentes.
I'm not like, you know, these other third world Indians. I'm one of the good ones. I can fit in here, right? I can be on the team. I can be part of the club. And it's like, no, dude, you're never gonna be fucking part of the club. It's not happening.
It's the that one of my favorite like jokey memes of. I don't know what the event was. It was maybe like the 2008 USA Basketball Olympics or some shit.
Okay.
And like Drake is sitting in one of the uniforms with like LeBron and everybody else.
Oh.
And they circle him and they go, bro thinks he's on the team. It's like, bro, you're not. Just stop it. It's humiliating.
Yeah, I don't know how you can not realize that at this point. Because I see even like, you know, people like Dinesh D'Souza, who is suddenly like appalled by Indian hate. And it's like,
right.
I mean, these are your politics. You are good with, he did all kinds of like, you know, race science type bullshit. It was all fine and good when it was at, other groups, when it was like black people or when it was, Hispanics or whatever. But, now it comes for your group and you've got a problem. I mean, it's the same thing with Shapiro, right? It's the same thing with all these people who are like, fine with all of the hate against every group and all of the racial politics, as long as it's not your particular identity group. But yeah, if you're going to fuel a Christian nationalist project whose the explicit political project is that the only people who really count and have rights and deserve to be treated as human beings in America are white Christian men, then you're shocked when you find yourself in the out group. I feel sort of similarly about Sydney Sweeney doing her pick-me-ass shit with these people too. It's like a bunch of these guys are like, repeal the 19th Amendment. Like, they don't think you should have rights. You know, they are fine to like look at your tits until you're 35 or 40 years old or whatever the cutoff for them is, and then they don't give a shit about you. They're not going to watch your like artsy film about like a lesbian boxer or whatever. They want you as, to
get in the kitchen. Yep, get in the kitchen.
And that's it. Like, that's it. And so it's so bizarre to me as a woman to see someone like intentionally put themselves into that corner where that you're going to be disposed of. Even now when you do a role where like she gained weight for that role and whatever and wasn't there just to be a sex object, and it bombed. No one went to see it. So I don't know. Yeah, I can't understand these people who think that somehow that ideology isn't going to apply to them, that it's not going to come for them too. But we're seeing the end phases of where this goes.
Yeah, because what are you going to say, Nail and Haley, when they come for you? What do you say? Wait, no, not me, bro. Why? Why not you? You're doing all the hatred shit for immigrants and trans people and black people and et cetera, et cetera. And when they come for you, what do you say? Your name is fucking Nayland. It's Nayland. On that alone, you should be more reasonable than this and more responsible than this.
Yeah.
Your name's not fucking John. It's not Mark. You're not white as fuck. Like, what is this? It's embarrassing, man.
Yeah, truly.
It's embarrassing. Yeah.
Truly. I mean, look at what they do with, J.D. Vance deserves all the scorn in the world, so I'm not, like, crying for him. But, like, here he is, a heritage American, but the fact that he married an Indian woman and has biracial kids is like, nope, fuck you, race traitor.
Of course.
Even though he does all the things and won't condemn, like, he's doing the whole, like, oh, we need to unify and we need to stop squabbling amongst each other. Bullshit.
Yeah,
I mean, basically just trying to, like, give cover to Nick Fuentes and his types who think that you're a race traitor and call your wife and your fucking kids Jeets, and you're running cover for them. Like, so you're doing all the things and still they will never fucking accept you. It's, I don't know. It's sad, pathetic, disgusting, all of those things.
He knows there's going to be blowback if he were to really go after Fuentes.
Yeah.
So he doesn't bother.
Yeah.
So he's a little bitch.
That's exactly
He's a little
right.
bitch. Refuses to actually, like, rep his ideology and refuses to defend his family.
Well, because what is his ideology? His ideology is, like,
careerism,
doing Peter Thiel's bidding.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's his ideology.
I want to be a puppet president. That's what he wants. That's his highest aspiration.
Mm-hmm.
To be a puppet to the tech oligarchs president.
Sad. How do you like this one? Newly released emails from this is per the Daily Beast, show the FBI spent almost $1 million in overtime analyzing the Epstein files as part of an effort dubbed the Special Redaction Project. Wonder what they were redacting there. What do you think?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You saw Ro Khanna coming out and speaking directly to, like, officials at the FBI, the DOJ, or whatever. Like, the law has now been passed. You are legally obligated to release these files, and you don't want to be caught violating the law, which I thought was pretty, like, I thought that was a good posture to take of, like, Trump and his high-level cronies, they may be immune from the law, and he may hand out his pardons to his top allies or whatever, but you, random, like, government bureaucrat, you think they're going to protect you when there's, if there's revelations that come out that you were hiding and participating in their cover-up? Like, no. The law is actually going to apply to you, so you better be doing the right thing.
Yep. That's right. And now AIPAC's coming after him too today. I saw that.
Yep. Yeah.
AIPAC targeting. Specifically because he calls it a genocide.
Wow.
They're like, how dare you call this a genocide?
Yeah, Roe's really impressed me lately. Back when Democrats were all like, oh, the Epstein files are just a distraction, he stayed really focused on it. Forcing this major schism with MAGA, and forcing this discharge petition through, and then this the bill that passed to release the files, like that was his bill. He was the first one to come out and say Schumer's got to fucking go, which really impressed me.
Mm-hmm.
He's endorsing a bunch of the like left-wing insurgent candidates, the Graham Plattners, the Kat Abou-Gazella, who you saw the Progressive Caucus endorsed Daniel Biss in that race.
Yep.
Who, listen, Biss is a progressive. It's not like his policy. I don't know all his stances on things. So I don't know where he is on Israel or whatever. But he's generally speaking a progressive. So it's not like they got behind some corporatist in the race. But Kat she's a fighter. Like, we know where she is. We know she's freaking getting assaulted.
She got arrested. She got arrested for ICE.
And was assaulted
by
them multiple times and sexually harassed too, according to her. That is the kind of person that we really need in Congress, those sort of fighters. And so I appreciate that he's been I think that's kind of clicked for him. And so he endorsed Kat, even though the Congressional Progressive Caucus endorsed Daniel Biss in that race. Speaking of some of our faves, Graham Plattner out with his book, Graham's favorite book club list, which and
it's all lefty stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's Eric Blanc, We Are the Union, Octavia Butler, Parable of the Sower. Oh, I read that recently, actually.
Is it about sewer socialism?
No, it's fiction. It's about like a sort of post-apocalyptic scenario, but like it's very lefty. It's good. Yeah, it's like after environmental collapse, effectively, and people trying to live and break down into lawlessness because of what all these oligarchs did, effectively. War is a Racket. Debt. Oh, this is a good book too. By Graeber. American Catch. This one I don't know. The Fight for Our Local Seafood. That makes sense. Paul Greenberg. Thomas Paine. Fight Like Hell, Untold History of American Labor, Kim Kelly. We've got No Shortcuts, Organizing for Power, Jane McElvey. And she's like legendary union organizer and apparently very influential in his thinking. American Colonies, The Settling of North America by Alan Taylor. I Saw Death Coming, A History of Terror.
Is that about like the Native American genocide?
I think probably. I don't know. I haven't read that one. I Saw Death Coming, A History of Terror and Survival in the War Against Reconstruction, and Capitalism by Richard Wolff. Oh, there's another Reconstruction book about the Reconstruction here as well. Oh, this one I've read by Eric Foner. This is seen as like the sort of seminal text on Reconstruction. So a bunch of those I've read and highly recommend all of the ones that I've read on this list.
Somebody said he's the ultimate median voter because like he was a private military contractor, but he's also reading about like how capitalism sucks ass. And that's true. That's sort of like ultimate median voter syndrome.
Yeah, well, I mean, we talked to him about his time with that contractor, which people have said is black. It wasn't really Blackwater, but whatever. And he was doing security for our embassy in Afghanistan. And basically, I mean, he was there for a few months. He absolutely hated it and was miserable. Didn't do much other than just sort of like hang around the embassy. And when we talked to him about it, he was talking about how he was talking about some of the like capitalist aspects of what was going on there, of them private equity had bought up all of these like different pieces of Blackwater after it had been spun off, etc. And I think that experience was a major part of his. He'd had these like, you know, left-wing ideas if you go and read the Reddit posts, but I think that was part of his you know, deprogramming or radicalization or whatever is
What, just seeing how little they were doing, or seeing?
Yeah, I was just disgusted by the fact that you had the embassy staff that were like living in basically luxury, swimming in the pool, just hanging out, and all of this money that was being spent. He said there were always new construction projects, renovation projects going on because it was just this pure cash grab from the military-industrial complex and all these contracts, all this war profiteering. And meanwhile, you see the way that the people of Afghanistan have just been like commiserated, and he was extremely disgusted by that. So yeah, he's I've been very impressed with. I think what impresses me about him and some of the others that are coming up right now is they're not just grabbing onto what's popular. Some are, which, I also like that the cynical political move right now is like to associate yourself with DSA. That's cool. But it seems very like he's got a fully formed ideological worldview. And, I think that formed in pieces over his life. But you could see from the book list, from the way he talks to people, he's not just sort of flitting from thing to thing based on what's popular. He actually has a genuine, like, fully fleshed out ideology that I think is important for grounding him.
It also can't be overstated.
Not a stoplight, by the way.
It also can't be overstated how much, just like I'm a white guy with a deep voice who's got a military track record, but I'll talk to you about how capitalism sucks. Like, that's like a thing that is appealing because the left supports you, but then it also makes like weirdo, apolitical, enlightened centrist people and maybe some moderate Republicans go like, yeah, I agree with that guy. He says a lot of stuff I agree with. So there's like this disarming effect based on a lot of the factors that shouldn't really matter, Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of funny the way this all happened for him, because you have this long history of Reddit posts. Most of them are left-wing. Most of them are like him being like, I'm a communist, and like very lefty stuff. But then the ones that mostly got highlighted were these, reactionary views of like, maybe like about women and sexual assault, and like, why don't black people tip, and like that sort of stuff. And then obviously the Nazi tattoo. In a sense, it sort of undercut the lefty position. It made it like, because it made it harder to do to him what they're doing to Afton Bain right now in Tennessee, where they're like, oh, she's a lefty, she's too far left, she's a communist, she's a Marxist, like here's all her left-wing positions. It kind of neutralized the sense that he was like too left for Maine, too far left for Maine. So, and I think also just, I think you're right that the fact that he's a man and, has that voice, the military background, whatever, like helps with that as well. But then again, I mean, Afton, what do you think is going to happen in that race? This is a Tennessee 7 special election that's happening on Tuesday. That early voting has already been going on. It's a Trump plus 22 district. When she ran, she's in the state house. When she ran for state house, she had DSA's endorsement. And she's very much like, if you listen to her, she sounds like Soren. She's all the way there on all of the positions. Like, she is a left-wing person. There is no doubt about it. It's a Trump plus 22 district. And a poll just came out that had her down by 2 points. So in the margin of error, in a Trump plus 22 district, this like DSA lady. So I don't know.
I think she's gonna win.
You think she's gonna pull it off? Oh my god!
Because it's
I'd be so happy if she does.
It's the national environment is the thing, right? Like, people are just like, it honestly, and it sucks to say, but I think it's true. It honestly has nothing to do with any of the Democrats. It's literally all just like the Republicans are fucking demons. And so I think that you get a lot in a scenario like that. Yeah. They've just showed their whole fucking ass. The other thing is for Graham.
But she is also running a fantastic campaign. Like, they're digging up all this stuff from her podcast, which actually I bet her podcast was kind of fun to listen to. She's very charismatic. But she's been all about the affordability message. And
I get it, but like Jay Jones was joking about murdering his political opponents and he won. Like, I really think it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, but he did win by a lot less than the rest of the ticket, so...
Yeah, that's true, but like Abigail Spanberger was like, she's a whatever candidate, and she fucking crushed, So
she was just like generic Democrat, basically.
But that's my point, is like any kind of Democrat, from like a hardcore socialist Democrat to like a fucking, I'm an asshole centrist Democrat.
Yeah.
In this environment, you're just granted like a fucking 10-point advantage.
No, I think that's absolutely the case. And, one of my takeaways from the midterm elections was like, Democrats stop doing this little like, or not the midterms, but the off-year elections, was stop trying to be a pundit, like predict like, oh, this one's more electable or that one, or let me think what it's like. No, the national mood is such that you can elect Jay Jones. So whatever your bag, like whatever you actually want in a politician, go for that. But that being said, like it still does obviously matter what type of campaigns are run, because like I said, you had...
Well, it matters for when you govern, of course.
Yes, but even electorally, you had Spanberger massively outperforming Jay Jones, because she was just like generic Democrat and he did have this baggage. So I do think the fact that she has run a fantastic campaign, I think that is part of what is making it possible that she could be able to pull this thing off. And it certainly destroys the narrative from the like Matt Iglesias and third ways, whatever, that type of candidate can only win in New York City in this super blue area.
Right, yeah.
That's what I'm really cheering for. Like if she pulls this off, then I mean, what can they say? Right? A literal DSA candidate just won in one of the reddest districts that any Democrat has won in. So what are you going to say about that?
The other thing is, when it comes to Graham, it's just like the charisma factor. So it's already a very good environment just to be a Democrat, period. That's point number one. Point number two is, if you're a Democrat, but then you also happen to be super charismatic, any sort of attacks they try to throw at you, whether they call you a communist or they say, oh, you had a Nazi tattoo or whatever the fuck, people are just like, shut the fuck up. I like it. I like him when he talks about like universal healthcare and shit. Fuck you.
He's really good on that. Yeah, he's really great on that. I don't know, it's wild to see all of these candidates that are like, I mean, Afton, for example, like she's a big fan of Breaking Points. I'm sure she probably watches you too. Like, you know, Graham watches Breaking, like so many, and loves Majority Report. Was a big Michael Brooks fan, and you know.
Well, now we're in that era now where the people who listen to us, watch us, they're in their like, you know, most of them are like in their 30s, right?
Yeah.
And so like now they're making life decisions. They, you know, they have a job or they want to get involved in politics, and so I expect that trend to continue. We're like, you know, it's not going to be people who are raised watching fucking CNN now. It's going to be people who watch Breaking Points or watch my show or watch Majority Report.
It's pretty wild to see though. But it's just, I don't know.
It was bound to happen eventually though, you know? Like, it was bound to happen eventually.
And here's the other thing is, there was already this burgeoning Dem Tea Party movement, because you have people who are so disgusted, liberals, who are so disgusted with Chuck Schumer, they're disgusted with Hakeem Jeffries, like they're disgusted with the capitulation for the mainstream Democrats. They see that this like, oh, let's tinker around the edges approach of liberalism it's just not muscular enough to fight fascism. And so they largely agree with us now. And you have this massive schism between where the Democratic base is and where elected politicians in the Democratic Party are on Israel. And so you already had this energy that was bubbling, and I think Zoran's election just broke it wide open. Like, I truly think he was an important spark to kick off this kind of like inside the Democratic Party revolution. And even if you just look inside New York City, you've got Hakeem Jeffries challenge, you've got Richie Torres challenge, you've got Dan Goldman is going to be challenged, you've got George Latimer is likely going to be challenged, you've got Jerry Nadler steps down, so you've got this big primary in New York 12. Nydia Velasquez also steps down, so you're going to have a big primary and likely get a very lefty candidate out of that area as well. Like, just the number of primaries and lefty candidates who are running in New York City alone is wild. And then you look across the country. I mean, I can't even keep track of all of the really interesting, very like ideologically solid candidates who have stepped up to run, whether it's in open seats or against Republicans or against Democratic incumbents. And I think I'm really actually excited about what this is going to look like, because we're going to get some people who break through who we've never even heard of, who end up being fantastic.
We should talk about Zoran though, because there's a lot of stuff that's not good lately. So first of all, the leader of the city council is just a total fucking prick who's like openly saying, I'm going to destroy his agenda and I'm going to block him from doing everything.
Yeah, so this is from New York Daily News. In vying to become the city council's next speaker, Julie Menon has in private conversations floated bringing back use of the chamber's subpoena power, a tool that could be a check on incoming Mayor Zoran Mamdani's administration. So she is like she's a Zionist, isn't she? I don't know, but that seems likely. Anyway, it seems like she's trying to become the speaker, and she's trying to form a bloc with the more
Republicans,
right-wing members of the city council.
So you have a Democrat cuffing to Republicans to defeat Zoran. That's what this is. So she's a fucking
block him.
Diet MAGA Democrat is what she is.
Yeah.
And so a couple things about that. I mean, when I hear that, my mind goes, okay, so you met with Trump and we got Trump got dog walked by you in the White House. But should you have been focusing on this instead? Trying to secure the fucking city council so that you have a chance of getting your agenda through? Because it seems like they were Game of Thrones style fucking lurking behind the scenes making these alliances, and you guys were totally fucking blindsided by it.
It's funny you say that, because I sort of look at it the other way. I was looking at it as you can see how he has all of these obstacles in his path and is aware of them, and that's why he's making some of the tactical decisions that he is to. So I think, look, the relationship with Trump is not going to it's going to fall apart at some point. I don't have any illusions about that, but for now he gained something real, which is Trump is saying, I'm not going to send ICE in, I'm not going to pull your federal funding. So that just in and of itself, even if it just gives him some time, that's a massive, massive win. So I fully support the Trump media, the way it went. I think he did a masterful job. He didn't give on his principles 1 inch. Trump was fawning all over him like a schoolgirl. He won some time for him to be able to focus on his agenda. Okay, that's great. Whatever's going on with the city council, I'm not sure what he could have done to forestall it, because he's also done this outreach to Kathy Hochul, and he's done this outreach to various business leaders in the city, and he's, we can talk about the Hakeem Jeffries thing as well, which I think was also an attempt to appease Kathy Hochul, who he needs to get his agenda through. So I'm not sure if there was anything he could have really done to block whatever's developing on the city council, but for me it does underscore how he still has all of these adversaries and all of these obstacles blocking his his ability to effectuate what people voted for in the city of New York.
But if you position yourself as the figurehead of fighting Trump, and you don't meet with Trump, and you make a point of saying, I'm not fucking meeting with this guy, he's a fascist, right? And then Trump comes after you. Isn't there an argument that would make it so everybody who's got a D by their name in New York City who was elected, now you have to fall in line behind Zoran, who's now the figurehead of fighting Trump? So in a sense, it keeps your Democratic base more unified. Base is the wrong word. Your Democratic politicians more unified, so that now you have to do some of my agenda, because if you break with me, I'm the one that has all the juice. I'm the figurehead of fighting Trump. Who the fuck are you?
I mean, maybe, but in the same respect, you're also now dealing with the fact that you've lost all federal funding. I think it's a difference between, I think what you're saying is it is possible that just being that, I'm going to welcome the fight with Trump, I'm going to invite it in, that helps him with his political standing. But what he's betting on is that the most important thing is that he's actually able to deliver on his agenda.
But now he can't, because of this woman who's...
But if Trump was flooding New York City with ICE agents and was stripping them of federal funding, then that's it. That's all you're going to be dealing with, is fighting Trump. And so that I think in my opinion, on that he made the right bet. And like I said, buys him some time. And now you have this mandate behind you because you just won this election, and you can still use that. They are working to turn everybody who was a volunteer and involved with their campaign into now a force to pressure people like this city council in order to force them to get behind his agenda. And I think those are the forces that he needs to use within the city to get it done. But if you are just, fighting with the federal government, fighting with Trump, who has a lot of power, we just have to acknowledge that that's reality, then what bandwidth are you going to have to be organizing people to then push for your agenda with the city council?
But say, the funding for universal child care in New York City, that wouldn't come from the federal government.
No, that comes from Kathy Hochul.
Right, but I'm not making a point against Kathy Hochul. I understand that he has to work through Kathy Hochul, so I get that he didn't endorse Antonio Delgado or anything like that.
Right.
But you would have, if you took on Trump directly, Trump comes after you, you put every Democrat who's an elected official in New York City in the awkward position of, even if they're neoliberal, they want to go against your agenda, but now they feel like they have to because Zoran's the figurehead of fighting Trump. And then if Zoran were to try to do something let's get universal child care through,
but Hochul is already
put more pressure on them as well.
Yeah, but Hochul is already saying that she wants to work with him on universal child care. She's already said she's open to raising corporate taxes to fund it.
I'm worried about this woman though. I'm not worried about Hochul. I'm worried about this. Well, I'm worried about Hochul for certain things, I should say.
Yeah.
But not for childcare. I'm worried about this woman for everything.
Okay. I mean, I think that's fair. But I'm just saying that I don't know that it was avoidable to, like, not have this obstacle in the city council. And if all you're doing is fighting Trump, then you're not going to have a chance at affordable care. You're not going to have a chance at free buses. Like, all your resources are going to be focused on just, like, trying to maintain when you're under assault by the federal government.
So tell everybody about that Ross Barkan article where he explained why Zoran is not either staying out of the Hakeem Jeffries primary race or endorsing the opponent. He had an interesting point, which to me at least made a little more sense than everything Zoran's been saying.
Yeah. So Ross Barkan, who knows New York's politics inside and out, he says that it's a priority of Hochul to, for Zoran to effectively back Hakeem Jeffries. And I think, the assumption is also that they struck some sort of a deal. Hakeem Jeffries is holding out on an endorsement till the last minute, and they struck some sort of a deal that also involved not backing a primary opponent. Now, on this one, I understand the logic. I do not agree with the tactic, though. I do think that if you just stayed neutral on the road, that's one thing. Like, coming out and actually trying to block Xi's endorsement at the DSA successfully and blocking that endorsement, and then coming out and directly saying, yes, I want Hakeem Jeffries to be speaker. Like, to me, that's above and beyond. That's way more than Hakeem Jeffries did for you. But in my opinion, it would be better to get behind a bunch of these primary challengers, because even if you don't think that Xi can win, which I think Zoran does not believe Xi can win, and the smart people I know, who analyze this stuff, who've looked at it, also think it would be very, 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 very difficult for him to win. But even if you don't think that, like, the fact of Hakeem Jeffries having to look over his shoulder and worry about a left primary opponent, I think that is powerful. And so I don't totally agree with the tactic here, even though understanding, okay, well, this is a priority for Hochul and you need Hochul, like, that does help put the pieces together, but I still think it's the wrong approach to these things within, when you're talking about these intra-Democratic Party primaries.
But Zoran needs to say that. He needs to say, my agenda runs through Hochul. In order to get my agenda done, I need Hochul to buy in. It's a priority for Hochul that I not endorse against Hakeem Jeffries. So yes, I support Hakeem Jeffries. He needs to say that, because then people like me go, okay, I see where you're coming from. I might not agree, but I see where you're coming from.
Right.
The answer he gave on the majority report was fucking weak as shit. It was some, like, generic ass, like, we need to spend our time trying to get things done, not using our political capital to try to get other people in power. Like, it's like, what is that?
Something
That doesn't
about,
fucking
like,
make sense.
supporting a caricature of our movement, which felt like a dig at Xi.
It did feel like that,
Which also, like, okay, then you should just come out. I don't know what that means. Like, you need to explain to me what that means. Now, the things that DSA is saying are, number one, Xi just became a DSA member, like, not that long ago. So they feel like he's jumping on a bandwagon.
But wasn't he already a lefty, though?
Believer, but he was a progressive.
Yeah,
and I don't know the full
cares?
extent of his record in the city, like what all he's done. But yeah, and I also feel like if it's the cynical political move to be a DSA member now and seek their endorsement, like, that's a win. Because not everyone is going to be, to really have a full movement, you're going to have some people who are just like, oh, this is the way the wind is blowing, like, let me jump on the train. And so it shows the strength of your movement that you have people who are like that. And I mean, again, his politics have always been certainly progressive. So it's not like he did a total, like he was Richie Torres and now he did a total 180 or whatever. So there's that. The other thing is that he said he voted for Bernie in 2016, but he wasn't registered to vote. That was the other thing that those are the two things that I've seen. Now, maybe there are other things that I'm not aware of. I haven't dug in that deeply, just to be totally honest with you. But again, if Zoran sees some of that stuff, and he should be more direct about that, because people are, like, we shouldn't have to be guessing and parsing and wondering what you're thinking and with these unclear answers.
Well, yeah, especially because don't act like it's a small deal when you talk endlessly about the genocide and you're pro-Palestine, and then you effectively sign off on fucking APAC Shakur, as Jennifer Welch calls him. Like, this guy is pro-genocide. It's not a little thing to be like, yeah, I'm cool with the genocide guy now. Like, so you got to, at the very least, you got to be like, here's exactly why I'm saying this and why I'm doing this.
And he was aggressive against Jeffries previously. So, you owe us an
And Jeffries
explanation.
fucking stabbed him in the back. Jeffries after you won the primary, he still wasn't endorsing you, bro. You owe this motherfucker nothing. So at the very least, you got to say, here's why I'm doing this, because I need my agenda to get through. It goes through Hochul. Hochul says that's a non-starter, and so okay, you know?
Yeah, totally. No, I agree with that. What do you think of America First honeymoon between Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson officially over?
Oh, I already covered this. Yeah,
I already covered this.
Yeah, he can't help himself. He's Jimmy Dore. He reminds me of Jimmy Dore. I always say that this is Nick Fuentes is Jimmy Dore circa 2017, 2018, where Jimmy was like the purity tester on the left, would spend all his time going after the people who are ideologically closest to him in theory at the time, which was like AOC and Bernie Sanders, just divide and conquer the left, basically acting like a Republican op, even though he's just a psychopath, right? It's the same thing. It's the same thing for Fuentes. I'm the purity tester on the right, and now instead of going after the people who are waging like a 12-front war against me, like Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro, now it's like, I can't help myself. I'm just going to start attacking Tucker relentlessly, even though he's in the same fucking trenches I am. So I love it. It's like, it's that like
it's so embarrassing
asocial
for Tucker
brain.
Too.
It's that asocial brain. You know what I'm saying? Like he really is like a loner in a basement and like has no friends, and so like
and is comfortable that way.
Right. And so he's like, I fucking hate everybody. I hate everything, and now I'm gonna act like Tucker's a bigger enemy to my agenda than fucking anybody else. So.
Yeah. Well, he makes a good point about he's like, oh, I hate how two-faced Tucker is. And that's fair because Tucker was talking shit, and then when he has...
I don't agree with this.
What do you mean?
I don't agree with this because Tucker had him on. It was largely a fucking softball.
Yeah,
the only time he disagreed, he was like, well, don't hate all Jews.
I'm saying.
Oh, what were you saying then?
So Tucker, before he has Fuentes on, is talking shit. He's saying...
Oh, the weird little gay kid in the basement. Yeah, that's true.
And then he has him there, and now he realizes, like, there was backlash because I said that, and now we're going to be friends, and I'm going to have you for dinner, and, like, tell you I'm not going to go after you, and whatever. So, yeah, that is two-faced.
But since then, he hasn't attacked Nick.
Right.
But Nick is perceiving what he's saying as an attack, because he's a hypersensitive little bitch.
What did Tucker say that he perceives as
the only point Tucker makes in disagreement with Fuentes, mildly, tepidly, every now and then, is... maybe it's not a good idea to hate all Jews, and actually, if you're a Christian, you should actually, care about all people equally. He says some shit like that.
Yeah.
And that makes Nick crash out now. But your point is correct, that before the interview, yes, he was two-faced as fuck, because he was like, you're a weird little gay kid in your basement, and then because of the backlash, he was like, oh shit, a lot of my audience actually likes Fuentes.
Yeah.
So that's why I decided to invite him on. But to be fair, Tucker is kind of open about that. He kind of says, like, yeah, they tried to cancel this kid, and... it just doesn't work, and I sort of realized that too when I said something negative about him, and it didn't work. That I guess we got to contend with this guy, and that's why he invited him on.
Yeah.
But it's funny that even now you're attacking him when all he's saying is I don't hate all Jews, and you do, and that's bad. That's it. That's the only disagreement.
Yeah.
And furthermore, he's actually still normalizing him even while he says that. It's not like you're winning that part of the exchange, Tucker. Nick is winning that part of the exchange.
Yeah.
Because it's more logically consistent with conservatism to be like, no, I hate all of them. I hate everybody.
It's much more logically consistent with their white ethno-nationalists. Yeah, I mean, and this is the way this ratchet effect on the right has gone. Is you go from the strategy the George W. Bush era strategy where they'll sort of dog whistle at racial politics.
Mm-hmm.
To Trump, who will just come out and be like, Obama's a Muslim, he was, wasn't born here, and birther conspiracies, and, trashing immigrants, and just
they're criminals, they're rapists.
Overt. And then you have, then from Trump, then you have the Tuckers, who will talk about Great Replacement Theory, which the full part of the Great Replacement Theory is that the Jews are replacing white people in the country, and it's like a white genocide. But he won't say that part completely. He'll do the rest of the Great Replacement part, and he'll just gesture at the globalists or something, something like that, wink and a nod. And then Fuentes will actually just come out and fucking say, like, the full thing, organized jury, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, this is because of the structure of their underlying political worldview, which is racialist, and just become overtly more and more blood soil white ethno-nationalist. Whoever is the purest form of that is going to be seen as like the truth teller.
Yep.
Is going to be seen as like, oh, the one who will say the things that they don't want you to say, blah, blah, blah. And so no, Tucker, Candace, whoever, you're not going to be able to rein that in because you have coddled and created the fertile ground for that ideology. I mean, you agree with that ideology, you just won't actually come out and fully say it because you know it's disgusting and repellent. But the person, you know, so the person who will actually come out and say it, yeah, they are going to win that argument, and that's exactly what's happening right now.
I think that that Candace is a little better positioned than Tucker, if I'm being honest.
How so?
Because Candace, at the very least, is also carving this other lane for her as like this entertainment-y, conspiracy type person.
Yeah.
You know? So there's like, it's not purely, like Tucker's kind of purely political. Candace also dabbles in like entertainment
culture. But she didn't do a good job in her conversation.
Oh no, she got steamrolled by him. Yeah. But she's been smart enough to like not say shit about him since. You know?
Yeah, she didn't do a good job in that conversation because, again, she has bought into many of the tenets of this like racialized politics as well.
Even though she's
so
a black woman.
Yeah, exactly. So what, you know, so when he comes on and says, yeah, I think black women basically are, you know, in general, less intelligent, and, you know, maybe you're an exception. Like, what, she has nothing to say back to that. She's not positioned to make a counter argument. So she didn't. And so, yeah, she just gets steamrolled by him. And then he's all pissy about the fact that it was like, oh, it's so adversarial and whatever. Yeah, he really is, like, super sensitive in that way.
Yep.
Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, always so thirsty for attention from the left, too. Like, doing this whole, oh, we need to come together. Like,
and what does that remind you of?
Yeah.
Jimmy Dore 2017 doing it with the right.
Yeah.
So AOC and Bernie are your fucking mortal enemy, but like Tucker, hey, like let's make this alliance. You know, it's literally the inverse Jimmy Dore. It's amazing how history repeats itself. They're both from Chicago also, and they both talk similarly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You say they talk similarly. I don't necessarily hear that. But
their cadence and the way they talk.
You've listened to a lot more Jimmy Dore than I have.
Yeah, you didn't follow Prime.
That much time.
You didn't follow Prime Jimmy Dore, but he had the internet in a fucking vice grip for a hot minute. You know.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. So anyway, we can all just await whatever is the even more virulently racist and Nazi version of Nick Fuentes.
Which he's now contending with, by the way. You have people who are pissed at him for his more, like, attempt at a more moderate turn lately. You have people who are pissed at him about that. You know, he said stuff like...
For it. Maybe it'll be Nailin' Haley.
Right, yeah. He said stuff like, you don't just be cruel for the sake of being cruel. Like, you gotta be civilized, you know? And they're like, how dare you? That goes against, that's less right-wing. He tried to argue that, like, it's not more right-wing to be more barbaric and cruel. And I was like, yes, it is. That's the whole fucking point, you know?
Yeah, in-group, out-group.
Yeah.
Like, that's your whole shit.
Totally.
It's like, you know, if you're in the in-group, then as long as you stay in line and agree with us, then I guess you're okay. And if you're in the out-group, like, you are less than human.
Yep.
And we can do whatever we want to you.
Yep, that's right.
Like, that is your entire worldview. And no, I am not going to be in an alliance with anyone who... That is my, like, bottom line litmus test, is at the end of the day, your politics have to revolve around all human beings are equal and deserve equal rights. And you would think that would be the lowest fucking bar of all time, but apparently it's not.
Yeah, you can't fucking cherry pick. You can't cherry pick. You know? Got anything else for us?
I think that's pretty good. What do you think? You got anything else you're talking about?
No, not off the top of my head.
Okay.
So, alright. Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving, and I'll talk to you soon.